week's Parsha, Behar Bechuchosai. So we know that in Parshas Bechuchosai there is the famous Tochacha, the rebuke, the curse, the terrible klala that Kodesh Baruch Hu gives and talks about if Klal Yisrael doesn't keep to the Torah. Truth is, the Parshas Behar is an introduction to Bechuchosai. Because Behar, which talks about Shemitah and Yovel, and at the end of the Tochacha, we talk about V'tirei Ta'aret Shapsoseh, that the land will rest for the years that it did not have, they did not keep Shemitah, and now 70 years of Bavel, Rashi gives a cheshbon, how the 70 years of Galus Bavel corresponded to the years of Shemitah and Yovel that they did not keep during the time that they were in Eretz Yisrael before Churban Bayis Rishon. So Behar is introduction and sets up for the Tochacha. Truth is that it's not just Shemitah, but there's a reason why Shemitah is the setup for the Inyan of Yovel. And the reason is because the concept of Shemitah and Yovel are things that make a Jewish society absolutely and totally Jewish. Shemitah and Yovel are very difficult mitzvahs. To go ahead and give back all property after 50 years, very difficult thing. And every Shemitah for every 7 years to stop and not to cultivate the land takes emunah on a level that's beyond. And therefore, there's a demand in the Torah for the Jewish people to live on a level of connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is beyond human comprehension. My Rabbi Zachar Kivracha used to say that if it wasn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving the mitzvah, nobody could think up such a stupid law, because every 7 years they'd have to look for a new following, because the people following them before would have died of starvation. It's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu could give such a mitzvah, right? And that's why the people had a difficult time keeping to it, right? Had a very difficult time keeping to it. That's why there were so many years that they didn't do it. Therefore, Behar sets up for Bechuchosai. But this goes, I think, deeper as well, because it goes into the essence of what this Tochacha is. The Gemara in Megillah says, Ezra was metaken for the Jewish people. They should read the Klalos before Shavuos and before Rosh Hashanah. Says the Gemara, why? Amar Abaya, Tichle Shana V'Kilul. We want to get rid of the curses, that the curses should be ended before the end of the year, right? So you can start a year with brachos. So the Gemara says, that's fine for Erev Rosh Hashanah. The Tochacha of Kisavo goes before Rosh Hashanah, the Seder, because it's the end of the year. But when you talk about the Tochacha of Bechuchosai, that's before Shavuos. What are you talking about, the end of the year? So the Gemara, yeah, Shavuos is also a Rosh Hashanah, because it says that on Shavuos you are judged for the fruits of the tree. That's a very strange Gemara. Being judged for the fruits of the tree makes Shavuos a Rosh Hashanah. First of all, the Mishnah Rosh Hashanah and Daf Zayin that lists the 4 times that the year that the world is judged does not call these days Rosh Hashanah. It just says that these are times of judgment, right? The Gemara here in Megillah is saying, it's called a Rosh Hashanah. And furthermore, so you're judged about the fruits of the tree, because you're judged the fruits of the tree, that makes it a Rosh Hashanah, makes it so a major end of a year. So, and furthermore, the Gemara says there in Megillah and Daf Lamed Alef and Beis that the main Tochacha is the tochacha of Vayikra. That's the harshest. What we have this year, it's the harshest tochacha, right? The one in Kisavo is not so harsh. So I was thinking that the Pshat, thought a lot about this. It's been something that's been on my mind for years. But what I'm thinking is that the kavanah of the Gemara is that what's the Shavuos being the judgment for the fruits of the tree is because the fruits ripen in the summer. So Shavuos is the opening to the summer season. And that's Pshat, it's Rosh Hashanah, right? It's the opening of the summer. And the opening of the summer is a special time of year, okay? There's a difference. Summer is different than the winter, right? And it's a really, a very special time. And it's a time which is a time that opens itself up to wilder, more promiscuous, more fun behaviors. It's a summer, it's hot, and get out and do, and right? And it lends itself to all types of things. And therefore, it's a Rosh Hashanah in the sense of the way people look at it. People look at the summer as being a very totally different type of time of the year. And that's what the Torah is saying. The Tochacha Vayikra is a very interesting Tochacha. Because it says, I'm going to take away the Beis HaMikdash, and at the same time talks about bringing Karbanos. Rabbi Abramsky learns from here halachics about whether the Kedusha of the remains, or Machlokas, Rambam, and Ravid, and he brings a raya to the Rambam from here. But it's very strange. The Beis HaMikdash is desolate, but you're bringing Karbanos. Hashem's not going to listen to your Karbanos. You're bringing Karbanos, or is there a Beis HaMikdash? It's not a Beis HaMikdash. The answer is, for this time of year, that's exactly the way it is, right? It refers to the Yetzer Hara of the summer. Yeah, you go to shul, right? I know people of a certain community in New York where they have a Daf Yomi shir, where in the Bahamas, where they go for their vacation, right? They're going to the beach. It's mixed swimming. It's everything, right? You can imagine, all right? But they got a Daf Yomi shir, and they have a shul. Like, wait a minute, what are you doing, right? So, Talmud of mine one asked me, Rabbi, is this good? I said, what do you mean it's good? Somebody tell you that why going to that place is good? Of course it's not good. Right? But the pshat is, that's the summer. That's the Metzias of summer. And therefore, the Tochacha of Vayikra Taka is that Hashem says, listen, let me get rid of this. That when you open the season, hopefully you can have a musar from this of how you should behave in this season. That's what the purpose of this Tochacha is, right? And that's Tichla Shanam Akilasah. Get rid of all this shtutz, get rid of this stuff, so you can enter into the season with a little bit of a more solid approach, right? And therefore, Dafka, the harsher Tochacha. But it's a harsher Tochacha. But Mitzat Sheni, it's an easier Tochacha, because the end is Hashem brings us back. Hashem remembers us, right? That in a certain sense, there's an easier part to this Tochacha as well, because this is the summer season, right? I understand you're still connected. You're going to go to Minyan. You're going to do everything, okay? But in the middle of the long, long day that you got in front of you, try to remember how you're supposed to behave at the same time. Perhaps that's the concept that Chazal are telling us, that that's why Ezra was mitaken. And it could even be that Ezra was mitaken dafka, that they should read it, because the Maritz Chai says that in Eretz Yisrael used to finish reading the Torah every 3 years. So how does it work out that the season should be now? The answer is, maybe it was a special reading to tell people, fellas, you're going into the summer, don't lose it, right? Remember, you still got to know how to behave. Perhaps that's the concept. We should have a chizuk, a tochacha, and learn to use our summer properly.